Hey, what's happening, guys? A couple of weeks ago, I shot a video where I was going to be ripping the long tube headers off of my Impala and replacing with some cheap eBay headers. Well, I kept getting bad versions of those eBay headers. Check out that video if you want to. But I didn't like those and ended up getting a couple of sets of bad headers. So decided, you know what, forget it. Let's send those back, get a refund, and let's just get some made in the USA headers. So that's exactly what I did. I still didn't have to spend an arm and a leg, which was nice, but I went with headers from Hedman. These are 69 Camaro headers. These ones are mid-length, so they're not the full long tubes like I had before, but these are gonna be better than the cheap Chinese ones that I had slated and that I was gonna try to use. So you guys may be like me. When you're changing something, I can never change one thing. I have to change a lot of things. So it's not only the headers that I'm gonna change, I'm gonna be changing the exhaust, and I'm gonna be changing a lot of things on the exhaust. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So these are my headers. These headers didn't come like this. They came with the cheap black paint on them that I sandblasted, got them cleaned up, and I painted these. I painted these with VHT high temp paint. Silver, nothing crazy, just try to make them look nice and something that would hopefully stick on the headers and wouldn't burn off in the first few seconds. So I'm excited to get these on. The other thing that I had to do was they give you the little collector piece that bolts onto here. I welded O2 bungs on that. I basically needed to run my O2 sensors. I don't know. I know these are LS specific manifolds. They must suspect that a lot of people are running carbs, otherwise they would probably include the collectors that have the O2 bung on there. But anyway, it was pretty simple. You drill your hole. I used a step bit to punch it out. Get your stainless steel piece on there. I used argon CO2. I didn't do any of the helium that they usually do when they're welding stainless, but welded those on there. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but that should work. So those are going to be ready to rock and roll. Going to bolt the whole things on there, and I should be good to go. The next thing that I got, you guys may recall in my original exhaust video, I've got dual exhaust on this car, and I have an H pipe straight in the middle. There wasn't room when I was doing that to have a X pipe. So I just had the exhaust shop hang an H pipe. Well, I'm gonna get rid of the H pipe and I'm gonna go with the true X pipe. Now, this isn't one of those stamped steel units. This is actually a really nicely made 2.5-inch X pipe. Hopefully this will fit really nicely between the transmission underneath the U-joint on the front there. And I think there's a good space that I've got slated for it. So I'm excited to get this on. X pipe instead of an H pipe. That's a big thing. The next thing that I'm going to be doing while I'm doing some exhaust work is I'm going to be ditching the mufflers that are on this. Now, I really love the mufflers, the sound on these. These are the Dynamax Ultra Flows. Really good mufflers. I have an exhaust video where I said that this sounds better than my brother's Mustang 289. He's got Borlas. Well, I kept listening to his sound, and even though my engine is better and stronger and sounds overall way different than his, I really like the exhaust sound that his mufflers had. So guess what I had to do? Yep, I had to copy my brother, going with some Borlas. These are the CrateMufflers, and these are specific for their LS version of engines. I think LS3 in this case. But they're supposed to be really good mufflers. They certainly are pretty proud of their mufflers based on the price. I could have got probably 10 of the mufflers that are on this car for the price of 2 of these. But Borlas S-types, I'm excited to see how this sounds. 2.5-inch offset. We'll see. I kind of like the bracket that they have on there. Pretty cool. So we're about to hear what my car sounds like with Borlas once I get those mufflers ripped off. So there you go. Like I said, you can't just do one thing. If you're going to do it, you might as well do it right. Overall, I'm really excited to hear how the car's going to sound now. So a little bit less power coming through the headers because the long tubes are now mid-length. They used to be 1 7/8. Now they're 1 5/8 tube, still 3-inch collector, but probably losing a little bit of power. But now I'm upgrading the mufflers, so we'll see what it sounds like. Overall, I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I really like the sound, like I said, of my brother's Mustang. I'm hoping that this sounds as good as that, maybe a little bit better because it's going to be pushing a little bit more air through and certainly some more horsepower. So we'll see. So the next video you guys are going to see is going to be a sound comparison of what this car sounds like before I started ripping stuff apart and after, and most notably, changing from an H pipe to an X pipe, and also changing the Ultra Flow mufflers to the Borla S types. So we'll see. I'm hoping that it sounds really good, and I think it will. Thanks you guys for checking in. Stay tuned. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Consider liking this video and leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks.